Alrighty, what's up, YouTube? Okay, so I have been saying I'm going to tell you guys this story, and I keep forgetting to tell you guys about it, so now I'm doing it. This is a story about a haunted item. In 2011 or 12, when I was still with my husband, no, yeah, I left him in 2012, so maybe it was, God, I don't know. I don't remember what year it was, but it was around that time period. And we were living at his parents' house, and we started having really strange things happening. We lived in, okay, so the house was a 2-story house, and the downstairs was basically like an apartment, and it had like a living room area, and it had a little bathroom and a bedroom, and then it was connected to the staircase that went up to the main part of the house, which is where the kitchen and the parents' room and his brother's room were. And the room that our bedroom downstairs was on the other side of it was the garage. So we would often come in through the sliding glass door, through the little living room, and then past the bathroom to our bedroom. And there was many times when we'd walk through that area that we both would feel creeped out, and we didn't know why. It didn't really make any sense. We would both see little shadows, and I always thought they looked like dogs or cats, just little small shadows, not like humanoid shadows, which kind of made sense because the only deaths that ever occurred at that house were pets throughout their childhood, because the house was pretty brand new. So we were a little confused when things started happening there, that were humanoid things. So one day we were sitting in the room and we were talking, and he was sitting on one side of the room and I was sitting on the bed, and we both heard in between us like, oh, like a female voice, just kind of, and he thought I said something and I thought he said something, and we both explained what we heard and figured out that it wasn't either of us, but it sounded like it was in between us. It was pretty weird. And we just kept having strange things happening. One day I was in the bathroom and the door was open and he was in the bedroom. And you know that feeling when someone walks behind you and you just know someone's there? Well, that happened to me. And also the light was on the ceiling and the light got blocked out behind me. So I assumed my husband was standing behind me. Well, a few minutes later I said something about him being behind me in the bathroom, and he's like, what are you talking about? And I was like, you didn't just walk in here? And he's like, no, Heather, I've been in here the whole time. And I was just like, what? I told him what happened, and it was really odd because I realized that if someone was standing behind me, they couldn't block out the light unless they were like 8 or 9 feet tall. So that was really odd and creepy, and it just gives me the willies just thinking about it. So every once in a while one of us would go upstairs to get something, a snack, or go to the bathroom, and one of us would come back and we'd be like, the creepy feeling's back, because it wouldn't always be there. And we were telling his brother about it one night, who was a huge skeptic. We were telling him that we'd been dealing with some activity, and he was just kind of like, yeah, okay, whatever, you guys. And right as we were telling him about it, we heard a woman scream, like blood curdling scream, but it sounded like it came from the living room. It was kind of muffled, but you could totally hear it. And he looked at us like all wide-eyed, but I still don't know if he believed us. Well, we used to go in the garage and smoke cigarettes, and because it was one place that we could not totally be freezing and not be directly outside, like in the rain or wind and snow or whatever was going on. So one day I was sitting in there by myself, and I saw a man's face in the window off the edge of the garage. And he was way too high up to be someone standing on the other side of the window. And he didn't have any eyes. There was just black holes. And he had very defined facial features. And I just busted out of there. And there was no way that it was like a reflection or some weird trick of the light, because where that window was a long driveway, and the only way that light ever came through there was, sunlight, or when his dad parked over there. He'd park his truck there, and that was it. You couldn't. There was no way that someone's face would be where it was on the window, or unless they were standing on like a ladder or something. But there was nothing out there, and you couldn't. It wasn't like trick of light from cars driving by, because that spot, again, nobody could drive by. It was on the side of the house, and it wasn't right by the major roadway or anything. So a couple days go by, and I'm looking at some photos they have in the living room in frames. And I looked at my husband, and I'm like, Skylar, that is the man I saw. And I pointed to an old man in the picture. And he was like, are you sure? I was like, yeah, I'm 100% sure. It was his grandfather who committed suicide. And here's where things get really weird. I mean, if that's not weird enough. It happened in Oregon, and we live in Washington. So it didn't even happen here. But the gun that he used to do it was locked up in a safe in the garage where I was sitting. So my only idea was that, and I was like, why the hell would you keep that, first of all? And it turned out that it was an antique, and it was collectible, and that's why they kept it. It's super disturbing all around, and I'm 100% sure that his suicide is tied to like a residual scar, and it's attached to that gun. And because I didn't even know that stuff at the time until he told me, and I was just like, whoa, like that is a whole new level of paranormal experiences for me. And I couldn't believe it. I mean I could believe it. It just was so crazy, but it made sense once you put the pieces together. So that's my haunted object story. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you like. Hopefully I will get my butt in gear and put some more content out. I'm working 2 jobs, and I've been really busy. Anyways, I hope you guys are all doing good out there. Peace.